Hello, welcome to day 2 of Awakening Possibilities. I'm super excited to be here with all of you. And really, today, the session in the morning, fill my heart with so much love. We did an inner child meditation, and I find it so important to go back to those parts of ourselves and reconnect with that for us to heal. And for me today is very special, these two women that are coming to share their wisdom. I have so much appreciation for both of them, and they do powerful work in the world. And I just can't wait for share all the wisdom that they have to share. I really am very grateful for all the people that are joining us, for all the people that are watching the recordings, and they're experiencing so many shifts, and we're just day 2. So let's keep going with this energy. And without anything else to say, I want to start by introducing my first speaker. And I just want to say a little bit about her, Dani Frederick. Oh my God, she's amazing. She's a divine feminine mystic, and the cornerstone of her work brings people together for soul-vein reclamation. She dances between worlds, marrying the ancient healing arts of the priestess with modern day leadership technologies, making the powerful practical. And that's totally Dani. And I want to welcome her and for her to share a little bit more. So if anything I miss, please, Dani, you can add whatever you want.
Hi, everyone. I just want to extend my gratitude to you, Sabrina, and also to this beautiful community that you're bringing together. Yeah, it's such a great thing to be coming together and coming into tune with our hearts and our minds and our bodies and our balance in the world right now. So it's just really a great honor. I'll just leave it at that.
Thank you, Dani. And I really appreciate the powerful work that you do, and especially through voice. I feel like it's so important to connect with that part of ourselves to express. And you do a lot of work with expression and of our true divinity essence. And I just want you to start telling us a little bit about how you started connecting with that part of yourself. And I know it's a long story, so I'll sit here.
Well, I'll say the first part in the nutshell, right? So you mentioned the essence and then the voice. So how did I start connecting with my essence? I think what a lot of people can probably relate to on this call is it doesn't always come through in the most like rainbow butterfly filled way. It usually comes through depression or some sort of like health crisis or accident. And I went from living a life very much plugged into the matrix paradigm of working tons of hours a week, like blacking out on the weekends, trying to forget that Monday was coming, really in my hyper masculine go, go, go perform. And a lot of my journey back home to my essence has been coming, getting out of that like extreme pendulum swing into the feminine and really exploring that. And then eventually coming back to the divine union of them both to understand how can we begin to build lives of beauty, of ease, of grace, of fulfillment. That doesn't just mean that we're sitting in a room meditating all day, although I wish that could be my life. That's not my calling in this lifetime. There are other people that are much better suited for that, and they're doing that, in the Himalayas and in Tibet. That's not my calling. So how do we really bring the sacred and integrate that into our lives so that we can be led by our intuition and our soul? And it's a lot easier said than done, and that's why communities like this are so important. And the second thing with my voice, I grew up always being told you're too loud, you talk too fast, and it's always just like that. You're too much, you're too hyper, you're too this, you're too that. And probably about 2 or 3 years into my spiritual awakening, my voice just came online. It was like I cleared my pipes of all my garbage. And of course, I'm still clearing. We always have to. It's like a house that collects dust. But I got enough of it out where it was just like naturally, like a rose blossoms and opens. My voice kind of came online, and I began getting these downloads from spirit with these chants that basically are vocal activations. And as life would have it, I found out that my little brother was getting into music production. And I was like, that's great. Hey, do you think you could take this chant and like throw it on a dope hip hop beat? And he was like, yes. So, I released some songs on Spotify this year, and I hold a monthly vocal activation chanting community session. And so, yeah, I'll pause there, but that's kind of the marriage of where my essence met my voice and how that kind of came to be.
Yeah, and I find that word so important. And also, by the way, you should share the link for your songs because they're so powerful. That chanting that I just like listen to it every once in a while, and it really activates something in my body. And I appreciate that you do that in the world because it's not easy to come with that free expression because it's different than actually creating something that is supposed to be a certain way of what society tells us. That's something that flows through us in the moment, as the present moment as it is, without trying to force it in any way. And I really appreciate your journey because I know that you came from this life where you actually were following a lot of society, whatever society was telling you had to follow, through what you are right now, having to break all these patterns and understand who you are on a deeper level. And can you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. So, yeah, I think becoming who we are on a deeper level, there's so much that goes into this. And so I just want to say that anyone that's watching this recording or on this call, you're already taking the biggest step, which is just showing up. Because there is no roadmap to the healing journey. There is no roadmap to the self-mastery journey. It's really, to me, about the choices that we make each and every day to show up for ourselves and to be present with what is, and also to keep our eyes and our hearts and our souls aligned to what we believe is true inside and begin to steward that out into our world. So I think the first thing to say is that it all starts with choice. Like, who are you choosing here to be? I've done a lot of work around sovereignty, and what spirit has given me around that is there's really this essence of commitment, devotion, and alignment. And sovereignty to me is really stewarding our inner brilliance. It's unplugging from those conditions and trying to create whatever that new realm is for us that really allows us to be who we're here to be. And commitment is about that commitment to becoming who you are, right? Those daily choices to know that, okay, if I'm becoming this big, bold, bright, beautiful person, like what would she do in this moment? Not commitment because I'm not already perfect or that I need to be better to prove myself or to earn love, but to honor myself and steward myself in a way of knowing that I'm worth going after what I believe in. And the second is that devotion, and that's really honoring who we are in our fullness, our mess and our magic, our animal and our angel, just the light and the dark. I spent 2 hours, full transparency, I spent 2 hours on the floor this morning bawling my eyes out. Like, I just needed that, right? I was like, oh, okay. So we're not getting anything done this morning. We're going to just sit here and be with this. And then we're going to go on Sabrina's thing. And then we'll see after this if I need to revisit that or if I can start getting my tasks done, So that's my devotion. My devotion is, oh my gosh, my nervous system needs to rage right now. And this is how it wants to do it. And I'm going to make that safe and sacred space for it to do so that I can then be clear after that. And then the alignment is, once I'm done crying, okay, who am I becoming? Getting back into that frequency. I'm calling in the frequency of peace. I'm calling in the frequency of focus. I'm calling in the frequency of abundance. And that is who I'm moving forward in the world as. I'm not moving forward in the world from my small self that's like, holy fuck, what's going on? Mm-hmm. I'm honoring that part and I'm saying, all right, little child, you spoke about inner child. Okay, inner child, let's get on the bus. You're not going to be in the driver's seat, but you're not going to be left behind. Here's who's in the driver's seat. Let's go.
Yes. Wow. So powerful that you share that. It's so important to understand that those experiences are part of our growing. And if we try to avoid those parts of ourselves, then how are we going to give the space to keep expanding and keep growing and keep learning from those raw experiences that allowed us to understand our emotions in a different level, and not trying to run away from that. But I admire you and I honor you for actually acknowledging that and sitting with that, because it's not easy, and it's also material for us, an opportunity for us to go even deeper, right? And just create something from that experience instead of running away, and knowing that there was a lot of wisdom in that moment and the moment as it is. And I honor that about you. And also, I know that you wanted to share something special with us today, with an activation or something that you wanted to do with us, if you want to share more about that.
Sure. Yeah, I just figured, the feminine voice is rising, right? I think we're all feeling that. And there's a lot of energy in the field, and there's a lot that we can work with, and there's a lot of different angles we can come at it with. And one of the most simplistic things that I've found in clearing energy and also calling back in our power is through chanting. I've worked with many different people, from like millionaire entrepreneurs down, to basically every facet, beautiful mothers, teachers, priestesses, healers. And what I find is that this simple thing works for everybody. It's super accessible, and it's not something that you need like a training certification in or anything like that. And it works like, because when we chant, one of the things that happens is that we call back in our energy. So we're always giving our energy away, whether we realize it or not, to tasks, conversations, thought forms, emotions, places. You go to the grocery store, you probably left some energy there. So it's really important to come into our energetic hygiene practices. And chanting is one of these ways where it takes fragmented consciousness and brings it into wholeness. So whenever you're having any type of like shame spiral or thought form, or you're just not feeling as powerful, it's like, okay, let me come into 2 minutes of chanting and see what happens. So who's down to do a little bit of singing today?
Of course. Please share in the chat.
You're all on mute. It's all good. So
Don't
I'm
worry,
gonna
you can do your own thing. I see some hearts over there. Yeah.
yeah. And here's the deal. Here's the deal. All sound is sacred. So I think we have this idea where it's like it has to sound good, but that's actually from the old paradigm programming that, that performing, think about it. Since we're little kids, it's like the teacher has the answer. We get tested. We can't trust ourselves because we didn't pass the test. We didn't do this. We're not taught to actually own our own power and own our own knowings. And so, oh, thank you so much, Misty. Really appreciate you. So this is a chant for sovereignty. And oh, and one more thing to finish that thought, just about the good and bad sound. Good and bad sound is actually not true. If you're going to only ever try to sound good and not let the bad, I'm using these quotation marks intentionally here, the bad sound come out, you're going to get tight in your system. So one of the main things that I do before I sing is I'll be like, like it's really horrifying. I really think that my neighbors have many concerns about me on a daily basis. However, it's my spiritual practice. What are they going to do about it? So, so this is what we have to do is, if you're not doing that on a regular basis and you go to sing and you're like, it squeaks or it sounds like a frog, people think, oh, I have a bad voice, I'm not a singer.
Mm-hmm.
In my bones, I know that every woman on this planet is a singer. It is natural. It is built into our DNA. If you look at tribal cultures, there are some shamans that won't even begin their ceremony until the women of the tribe have begun singing. That's because we actually have like specific codices, I'll call them, to bring in the mystical, bring in the healing, bring in the spiritual, just because we exist and it's our divine birthright to open our mouths and make sound, like truly. So I just want to give everyone full permission to sound however you sound. And sometimes I sound horrible and that might be today, but I'm still going to love that horribleness coming out of me, you know? It's like, how can we love it all? This is so much more than sounding good. This is loving it all, practicing non-judgment, practicing compassion for yourself, and calling in your energy, just as I had talked about before. So along the lines of sovereignty and, you know, unplugging from normal conditioning and coming into your knowings and following your truth, this is something that's going to help everyone just kind of ground that deeper in their lives. So it goes, no one has authority over me. I fly free. No one has authority over me. I claim my full sovereignty. And it goes like this. I think I'll get a drum for this. We like drums, right? We're drum people here. Big drum people. Great. Okay. So how this is going to go is I'll start singing and I'll probably repeat it anywhere from like 5 to 8 times. So just go ahead and join in whenever you're ready. No one has authority over me. I fly free. No one has authority over me. I claim my full sovereignty. No one has authority over me. I fly free. No one has authority over me. I claim my full sovereignty. No one has authority over me. I fly free. No one has authority over me. I claim my full sovereignty. We're going to speed it up. Ready? No one has authority over me. I fly free. No one has authority over me. I claim my full sovereignty. No one has authority over me. I fly free. No one has authority over me. I claim my full sovereignty. No one has authority over me. I fly free. No one has authority over me. I claim my full sovereignty. Slow it down. No one has authority over me. I fly free. No one has authority over me. I claim my full sovereignty. Last time. No one has authority over me. I fly free. No one has authority over me. I claim my full sovereignty. And then we're going to say, I belong only to me 3 times. What did I say? Claim my full sovereignty. I bow only to me. I bow only to me. I bow only to me. Just place a hand on your heart and allow those vibrations to fall upon your shoulders like snowflakes, and take a deep breath in. And you can open your eyes and come back to the space when you're ready. Congratulations, all. How are you feeling? I'd love to see in the chat. What's shifted for you? You are now more sovereign, powerful beings.
Oh my
Going on?
God, Dani, I love that. And for a moment, I forgot that I'm hosting this event. I'm like, I love these. That was incredible. So powerful. Yes, I needed that too. Definitely. Yes. And really what you said and what you mentioned about I'm not trying to be for it to be perfect, right? And at the beginning I found myself trying to for it to sound good and it has to sound this way. And then I'm like, I cannot let go of that and just try to follow my voice and what it needs to do in that moment. And it felt so much more powerful. Yeah.
Because here's the thing, our voice is medicine. So when we stop trying to control it and we let it just work on us, we say, okay, I'm just going to show up and let you come through. what's happening is those frequencies are resonating throughout our bones, our blood, our body, our cells. And we don't have to control it. It has its own intelligence to uplift us in whatever way, shape, or form we need. So that's beautiful, Sabrina. I'm so glad.
Thank you, Dani. That was incredible. I really, I'm honored that you're here. And for everyone that's watching the recordings, they can keep doing this chanting as many times as they want because they have the recording in there. And I feel it's so powerful to do it by yourself and it just like be honest to whatever needs to come. Because I feel like if you really set the intention for this to be powerful and healing, you can really shift a lot of things.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Intention is half the fun, right? In any practice that we're doing, in any modality, it's
Yeah.
we are creators in our intention. Where our attention goes, energy flows, as they say. So yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dani. And I know that also you're so generous in general. You also have a gift for everyone. And I'm going to put it here on the chat for everyone. Dani, you want to talk a little bit more about that gift?
Sure, yeah. So this is my monthly chanting collective where we gather online for a quick 30 minutes. It's like, a spiritual workout. Like you go to the gym for your body. I'm like, let's revamp our auric fields, but like, let's make it quick because because we want to be practical. We want to
Yeah.
make it work. So this is 30 minutes of vocal reclamation activation. Many women say, sometimes they'll get tears, sometimes they'll feel more empowered. It's really the medicine comes through the chant. So we get on, we do a quick drop in, and then we chant for 30 minutes, and it's extremely, extremely uplifting. So if that's of interest to any of you, it's absolutely free. I do it every month. I'd love to have you on there with me.
Oh, Dani, I love that. I'm gonna do it all the time too. I really needed that today, and the reason that we are here is exactly what I needed. And also, is there other ways that they can connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. You can connect with me on Instagram.
I'm sharing the Instagram
I
there.
work with, I essentially work with women to come into communion with their soul and their higher knowing so that we can lead more beautiful, easeful, graceful, fulfilling lives. And so I do that through one-on-one. I have group programs. I have these free offerings. So if you follow me on Instagram, you can message me. I can share any information or you can just find all the stuff there. So I'd love to hear from you all. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dani. And yes, everyone that is watching the recordings, I'm also gonna send the free gift there and Dani's Instagram for you to connect with her. I find so amazing everything that she shares is so inspiring. Every day that I wake up, even in her stories, it's like, oh, this is exactly what I needed to read today. So, Dani, you're so in tune with yourself, and I appreciate that about yourself. And I appreciate you being here. I'm sending you so much love and thank you for sharing this gift with all of us.
Such an honor to be with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dani. Thank you. Perfect. Oh my God, that was great, right? We can just stretch ourselves a little before the next. Oh my God, the next speaker. I have so much to say about Chantelle. She's my soul sister. I love her with all my heart. We connected so deeply in Egypt. We were together in Egypt and we will probably share about our experience there and how we really had a very powerful healing moment in the pyramids of Egypt and how that activated a lot in myself. I'm sure in Chantelle in her voice. And it's funny that we're talking about voice because she's also in this process of activating her voice. And I'm going to share a little bit about her before I introduce her. Chantelle Adams, she has delivered over 1,000 speeches all across the globe. She's amazing. She's been featured in Forbes and on the cover of Business Heroine, Event Head, and Mindful Mavericks magazine. As a storytelling and speaking expert, she's all about helping you gain massive clarity from your brand story. She shows you how to embody your story to create a powerful message and platform which can be shared courageously with the world, tuning your message into a movement. And yes, what she does is incredible. She really channels your energy through your story and helps you find the essence of your story and what you came to do in this world. And I'm so honored and grateful that she's here. And with anything else that I have to say at this moment, I'm going to introduce you to Chantelle.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you, Dani. That was beautiful. And I too had a very emotional morning. So I was like putting on the makeup, like, okay, here we go. So I'm glad that you just brought that into the room. And Sabrina, thank you so much for inviting us and bringing, and those of you that I know are listening either on the replay or without videos on, I appreciate your presence and can feel your essence already. So thank you, Sabrina.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh my God, I'm so excited that you're here. And yes, everyone that is watching the recordings, everyone that is here, really, I want you to feel into Chantelle's energy because she has so much to offer. And the fact that you're actually so vulnerable to share that you were so emotional, because I cry almost every day, I would say. I need that. It's very important for me to let go. And I just try to connect with that part of myself. And is there anything else you want to add about your story and how you started connecting with all these incredible things that you've been doing?
Yeah, thank you. I feel that I've always been someone that's been in the kind of the performance when I was younger. I played music and sang and did these things. And I feel that that was my way of receiving and finding love. Was when I would perform, there was that story that was built, that there was this acknowledgement of my worth. And what happened, I feel like I had built my business very successfully in the realm of speaking and helping other women get on stages around the world as well, and was traveling and speaking and doing all these things. And then there was a series of really three big moments in my life. I lost my big brother. Suddenly, he was only 48 years old, and that's coming up on his anniversary. So part of the emotion. And then I went into actually leaving my lifelong religion because I started to open up to what is all of this spirituality, and and if this can make me feel so connected, and also starting to see some of the, maybe not, again, not to but just in my own journey of starting to feel that there were some things that weren't resonating with my soul in that organized way, in some of the things and teachings. And so left that, but that also was a community, an identity, all of those pieces. And then I also left my 19-year marriage 6 months after that. So within 6 months, it was like my entire world and everything I thought about it. And then because I was in such a deep place of grief, my business also flatlined because I had built it all around me being this, visible, performing, speaking, being in that realm. And I'm so grateful. So basically, everything that I had created around an identity of who I thought I was no longer. And I got to sit in that discomfort and figure out who I really am and what my voice really is and what my work is really meant to be about in the world. And first, I had to go within and heal so much of all of it. And I'm still on that healing journey, and I will always be. There's always these layers, right? We're like, oh, I've healed that. It pops up in some other way. And we're grateful. And we start to see that this is just part of evolution and growth, as if we are truly allowing ourselves to be in that place. And I think that's where also the storytelling came in as I was speaking, and I knew story was so important, but now it's starting to morph into this place of deep healing where I can channel. Now I realized someone had said years and years ago that I was channeling, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what that word means. And now I fully accept that and embody that. And so being able to channel people's stories, but from this place of really helping them to see these moments in time. It's almost like if you think about acupuncture, there's like that release of pressure on a certain point that's blocked. I feel like that's what I do with people's life stories, is I can see where there's like a pressure point in their timeline of their life in this existence. And we can go in and I can help them to see that, oh my goodness, that was actually such a gift, or to see it from such a loving, compassionate place where it releases and opens up their voice, their story, their vision, their ability to share their story from such a deeper, honoring, whole, loving place.
Oh my God. Yeah, I love that. And I love that you share about that losing your identity, because we attach who we are to certain things. And it's exactly what I was talking about today in our morning session, exactly how I lost my identity. And I need to really go deep in my healing journey to understand who I was without all those things, right? And I find it really important to understand my relationship with myself is the most important thing I have. And how do you think you change your relationship with yourself through all this process of discovering new parts of yourself?
Yeah, I found that I love to be just in with myself. Like there isn't so there to a degree where I almost need to now like, okay, go out now, Chantelle. Like go out and visit people. Because there is just this like safety, whereas before I would run from being alone, like that terrified me. And so that's where I've really healed a lot of that codependency, and that outside validation and need for that experience. So it's exciting because I'm just starting to come back out, and I still haven't fully landed into what this is because, like you mentioned, I've had some really powerful voice activations and I'm not exactly sure what that all means, and I'm still just letting it unfold, because I think when we're navigating the feminine flow and when we're in this place of new ways of business, new ways of serving, new ways of leading, it means we don't necessarily have a understanding, a template, like right what this is. And sometimes what's coming through these codes and these healings and these activations, and I know Dani, I'm sure this is a lot of what you do and support others in doing, sometimes we don't need to know. We just let it flow. We let it come through us. We let it be whatever it is without contextualizing or understanding. And I think that that's been a big part of my journey too, is I used to really like to know and plan and strategize and all the things. And now it's like, I don't even know what tomorrow is. Let alone what's a year from now and who I will be. And so I think there's just this honoring of the journey along the way for sure. And also that our evolution, our story is continually evolving. So now I used to do like brand stories for people, which I still do. And also it's like, you might be a new person a week from now. So it's this ever evolving, let yourself be the muse of your own story, and then the conduit of being the channel of whatever is coming through, whether that is spoken word or music or song or silence, just energy, and let it speak for itself.
Yes. Wow. So powerful and so true, because I mean, I got to experience that with you in I don't even have words, as you can see, for what happened in that moment. And just, I feel like what you said is so important, because it's all about you allowing this to come. And it's because you open yourself to receive whatever needs to come through you in that moment. It doesn't matter what it is or how it is, or if you try to change it or fix it, because our mind is always going to try to find a story for that. And and yeah, that's so true. And I want to talk a little bit about what happened with us in Egypt, because I find it so important for us to share that experience, because it was a very powerful moment for me as a receiver of your gift, and for you to actually channel this energy that was coming through you, through your voice, through expression. and in that connection with an ancient wisdom that needed to come out, right? And do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So I have been on this journey of enchanting with kirtan. It's been something that's just newly come into my world in the last year, but I also have started to find that my hands love to go into mudras. And again, I'm trying to not intellectualize too much, but I know that our body holds so much wisdom. And what I actually feel is that for a period of time, we left our bodies a lot, right? Like meditation, breath work, we are like traveling into other realms and dimensions. We're like out of body type of experiences. And what I've started to feel is that our bodies are a part of it. It's the conduit to be the channel. We have to be in our bodies. That's why we're here on earth. That's what makes us different than a soul. We are in a body. And so why are we not allowing ourselves to be present in our bodies to then express and feel and experience the galacticness of whatever is around us? So it's this piece of, I've started to do these mudras. And again, I didn't understand it. I just let my body be it. And so it was starting to guide. It was like an oracle, almost like in meditation and breath work, but it was helping me to stay grounded, I believe, in the present moment. But also in Egypt, what happened was, and I had a couple experiences where I have quite a small voice. Like if you hear me talking, I feel like it can get more powerful when I channel, but it's quite a like high pitched voice. I know Dani talked about that, like, right. And I know that there's this piece though, when I channel, it comes out like a force. And I'm like, whoa, what was that? And so a couple times it happened in kirtan where all of a sudden it was almost like this tribal sound. And I've never heard my voice sound like that ever before. And again, I just was like a little bit, ooh, that was kind of loud. And like, I could feel like my physical me was like, yikes, like I should tone that down a little bit, but I couldn't. And then in Egypt, we're inside the king's chamber, right? We're inside this beautiful energy. We're sweating like crazy because it's so hot in there. But we go through this beautiful meditation and sound journey that the event hosts were guiding us through. And then they said, you can take a moment in silence to just whatever you need. And so as I was sitting there, already I was feeling activated. My back is against the pyramid. There's all kinds of energies in there, if any of you have been to Egypt. So I didn't fully know. My hands are in mudras. And then this energy starts like flowing through me like I haven't felt before. It's like just flowing. And I'm like, everybody's being quiet. I can't sing. Everybody's in their meditation. And I literally was like holding it back. And how many of us do this in whatever situation where we hold back what we feel inspired to share, to speak, to create? And I'm like, nope, I was told to be quiet. And I don't want to disrupt anyone else's experience. And then I actually almost felt like I was going to get sick because it was like right here and I was holding it back. And then finally I was like, okay. And I let it out. And it was, I came into this place of like just deep grief. There was a grief moment for me, but like it wasn't my grief. It was part of the land. It felt like this flow of angelic message, healing. And again, I haven't fully understood all. It felt a lot of Mary Magdalene energy. And I, at the time, was like, I don't understand that because this is the pyramids. And then later on, I understand there's a connection. I've done some research after the fact. But it was just this beautiful, I think for all of us, it was like this moment of, we all had our own experience. And it was a reminder that whatever that was channeling through me was for the highest of all, and allowing myself to be the conduit for that experience and not hold it back or stay silent or feel, even if I felt uncomfortable or that wasn't the place, that I let it flow. And that was the greatest healing or act of love that I could do for those in that experience. And beyond, because we know frequency through sound. I believe that there was greater healing than just within that chamber.
Yes. Yes. And even I have chills about thinking about that moment, because what was coming through you was such an angelic sound that I have no words to express what was happening in the moment. And I find so important that we share about this, because we were open to receive whatever needed to come. And there was a lot of healing that took place in the moment, right? Because I allowed myself to receive whatever needed to come. And after that, I just couldn't stop crying. And there was so much release that needed to come. And all I could do is just turn and saw Chantelle. And I just met her 2 days or one day before. And I was like, can I hug you? Like, I was not even thinking what was happening in the moment. There was no way to rationalize whatever was happening in the moment. I just needed the support of my soul sister. And I was crying and she was carrying me like a baby. And I was just releasing so much emotions that were coming. And I don't fully understand if it was all mine or it was part of the healing that we needed to do for this, for our ancestors, really. And
Yeah.
that's why I feel it's so important that we share about this experience, because it's all about our intention and allowing ourselves to receive that. Yes.
And I think it's also, if we can look at, you know, from this perspective of putting ourselves in sacred containers. So there was a sacred container. We were in a sacred land, a very sacred space, but also I know that each time that that experience has happened, it's been in community where we've all been gathering. And at one point or another, there's been music, there's been sound. You know, this one happened before and then it was silent, but that activation had come. And so there's power in collective voice and music and sound and frequency to truly heal. And you're right. I feel it was a collective of our own and ancestral and the land, and we don't even need to know, but the healing happened. Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, reliving that moment. Hi, Jessica. I saw that in the chat. Mwah, mwah. Yes, it was so amazing. And talking about that, I also want you to share a little bit of your experience with storytelling and why it's so important to tell our story.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, I know we only have a little bit of time. Part of me is like, can I do like a live mini story session? I feel like that
If
would be
everyone's open to staying a little longer today, I will
okay.
100%.
And I can try to keep it as short as possible. But when we tell our stories, I feel like it is this piece of, yes, I have a little blueprint and framework, and I can share something that you guys can dive into later. But I think for right now, if we really think about our stories being an act of love and an act of healing, and so, and not so much, I often say energy precedes the word. And so again, just like we prepare ourselves to be the conduit, we prepare our bodies, we prepare our hearts, our souls. Dani preparing to be on this call was releasing that emotion and being in the feminine flow, myself as well. We are called into these places where if we honor what is arising, then whatever comes through us is of highest service. And so whenever we tell our stories, yes, we have this bigger experience, and also we continue to tell the story, right? It's an ongoing piece. But if we really think about ancient wisdom being passed through stories, there's so much wisdom in each of our stories, so much that we get to tap into. And so if we allow ourselves to first, yes, look at the moments that shaped us, look at the big, breakthrough moments, those kind of golden nugget moments, that diamond moment that put that pressure on us to then sparkle and expand into this place of what were the lessons? What were the messages? What were the truths that came through that experience? And the more that we start to look at everything is happening for me, not to me, but we look at that from that place, and there's such wisdom in every single challenge, every single heartbreak, every single moment where we're there wondering and questioning ourselves, our reality, our work in the world. There is such deep wisdom. And so that's the power of storytelling, is being able to take these moments in time and distill the wisdom and then share that in a way that brings in the emotion, the energy, and the feeling. So I'm really about, when we speak on stage, I never tell people to memorize, or it's always about, sure, have a framework, have an idea of what you're going to share, and then let yourself be with the energy and the emotion of what it is. I had an outline of some ideas, and we haven't even got to that. So, but what we shared here was what was meant to be shared. And so it's that openness to letting yourself be in the moment and be with your story as it changes and evolves. Okay, so we're just going to do something really fun, and I'm going to try to do this in 10 minutes. I don't know if it's possible, but we're going to try. Where normally this is like, an hour and a half kind of session, but is there anyone, well, I mean, I see two beautiful souls here. I know there's more, but Dani or FN, is that how I say your name? FN? Do you guys want to try this story session, either of you? Or you want to be a guinea pig?
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. My name is Ifan, and I will
Ifan.
be speaking on Friday.
Yay.
Hi, Sabrina.
Hi.
I do have another call at 1 o'clock, so I don't know
Okay,
if
so that might not
that's
work.
enough time.
Yeah. Is there anyone else? Dani, you want to go?
Sure, I'll open it up to anyone else on the call first. Sarah,
Yeah.
Sonia, Camilla, Misty.
Anyone that would like to, let's see on the
It's a
chat.
fun experience. It's a little channeled guidance, but if not,
right,
we have
let's dive in. Let's dive in. I love this. I love this. You get to receive as well. This is the feminine way. All right. So what we're going to do, again, normally I would get your full life story from childhood to present day, but we're going to try to do that in 2 minutes. So I want your whole life story in the sense of like big milestone moments you might need to just give me like one, like me as a child, and then like here's a big moment, and then here's a big moment. Okay, but
Okay.
First, even though I do kind of know it, I want to hear what you would have to say is your work in the world.
Okay, can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Are these milestone moments like success moments, or like moments that shaped me as a human?
Shaped you as a human, and I mean the breakdown to the breakthrough kind of moments. Yes.
Cute. Cool.
Yeah.
I love this.
Okay, but first you want, say again
What you feel is your work in the world, if you were to say it in a line or two.
My work in the world is to help us all come into more of ourselves.
Beautiful. How?
Through connecting with our soul and speaking our voice.
Perfect. Okay. Anything else around that message movement that you want to share? Something that you might say a lot of?
No, I'm really trying to blank. I'm really trying to be in the flow.
Okay, well then let's just go with it. I love it. I will find it. We will find it. Okay.
Try not to go to my regular,
I love that.
Presenter mode.
I love that. Okay, so now I would love to know little Dani. Give me a little bit about her, and then let's go into those bigger shaping moments.
Little Dani, well, the shaping moment that's dropped in right now is I remember being on stage. I was like 4 or 5 in ballet, and we had just finished our recital, and I was bawling my eyes out because my friend, her mom brought her like a single rose as like her like congratulations, and I got this whole bouquet. And even though you think like, oh, good, I got the whole big bouquet, it's like because it was different from hers, I thought it was worse. And so I was crying because I had this whole bouquet and she got this single rose. And I was
Ah,
like, I should only have a single rose.
beautiful. Isn't it
I'm also an
impressive?
initiate of the rose lineage, so there's probably part of my soul that was
Oh,
like, why do I have these flowers? I should have a rose.
oh, beautiful. Yes, I love that. Okay. And have you made that connection before? Probably. Or did
That
that just come
came through
through?
now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually an important awareness for you. I love that. Okay, beautiful. So now I know it's pressure, but in about a minute. I know normally they're longer. I'm trying to be honoring of the time, but we're gonna go into just like that. What were some of those other defining moments for you?
Oh, defining moments. Okay. I feel like speaking at eighth grade graduation. I got an award for writing. I almost had to drop out of college because I was getting so sick and stressing myself out so much. Um, Other defining moments. Moving to Manhattan, um, felt so freeing and liberating because I was Wisconsin born and raised, always wanted to move, never did for various reasons. And then I just packed up and moved to the middle of Manhattan. And I was like, if I get hit by a taxi tomorrow, I die happy. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Um, Other defining moments would be probably my first plant medicine ceremony, um, meeting my priestess mentor, releasing my first song on Spotify without listening to it first because I didn't want to get stuck in perfectionism. So I just uploaded it and went.
Beautiful.
Is that enough?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Anything else?
Oh, yeah, I just think getting to some of the darkest places I've ever seen within myself, probably in the past year, and feeling
Mm,
so much stronger from it. And I'm not done. I'm still really
mm,
there.
mm. Beautiful. Yeah. Okay, again, normally we would take a lot more time to dive in, but I'm gonna see what comes out. So just give me a minute. Oh, took some notes about your work earlier. So I'm just using those notes a little bit.
Yeah.
Give some depth to this as well. Hmm. Mhm. Okay, beautiful. All right, just give me a minute. All right, now I'm just going to say your story back as if I'm you. We came into this world hearing and understanding the heartbeat of our mothers, that beating as if it were a drum, this beautiful connection, a sense of safety and belonging. And when we were born, the first thing that we did was take a deep breath and then hear our voices. And that first cry, it is beautiful to each who loves us. That cry, that scream that to maybe someone else might sound a little bit like fingernails on a chalkboard, to that mother is the most beautiful sound in the world. And that is part of the programming. That sound is either good or bad. That's a download moment there. No, that there is a good or bad sound. That we give story to how our voice is or is not. But if we really think about the earliest moments of our life, that heartbeat is within us. We often don't even realize our own heartbeat, but it is there, like an internal drum walking us through life. We have this beautiful gift as souls coming into these bodies to experience and express through them. And I know that as we walk through life, there are moments that shape us, moments that have us questioning who we truly are, moments that tell us that we are too much or not enough, that we should be quiet or maybe louder, that our voices are not quite right, or what we have to share is not fully accepted. And so along the way, we begin to create this narrative of being quieter, of silencing ourselves, of not allowing ourselves to say, express, or feel. I remember one of my very first memories was being on stage just after a ballet recital. And my friend, I looked over, was receiving a single rose from her family, while mine brought over this big, elaborate bouquet. And you would think by receiving this big, elaborate bouquet versus one single rose, I would be excited, grateful. But that little me perhaps knew something that I didn't fully know or land into until recently, working with the Priestess mentors that I have, is that I am of the rose lineage. And as my tears began to fall and I felt this temper tantrum rising within me without understanding why, when to everyone else it seemed I should be ecstatic and over the moon, there was something, a sense of longing for something different. And again, there is a story that I should be grateful for what I received. Perhaps some of that even came through in the messages that I heard. But there was a part of my soul that saw the beauty in that single rose. And maybe there was even a lesson there for me, not only being of the rose lineage, but also seeing the beauty in the rose, where there are thorns all around it. A part of this dance that we now do in life between the shadow and the light. You see, I feel that it is my gift in the world to those, my way of being, my way of serving is to help people to find their way through those thorns, through the darkness, but actually not through it, to allow us to sit in it, to be with it without judgment. Just like when we find ourselves expressing, I believe that it is our divine birthright to open our mouths and be heard, and that every woman is a singer, that she has in her the voice that is encoded within her that can heal generations, that can express beauty in the world, no matter the sound, because with it carries a frequency. Because sound is sacred no matter if we label it good or bad. And what I long for most is if we could stop being so perfect or thinking that it needs to be a certain way to be received. Because actually, just like when I came into this place, as I look back and I received my 8th grade award for speaking and my awards for writing, and I got into college and I was in this state of perfectionism that I stressed myself out so much that I almost dropped out. And then the biggest act of courage was leaving everything that I knew and moving to a different city and feeling so free. But it wasn't necessarily just because I moved to a different city. It was because I decided and I chose myself no matter what. And I allowed myself to be reborn. I left everything that I knew behind so I could start fresh in a new space, which led me on a journey to my first plant medicine ceremony, to working with my priestess mentor, to uncovering this aspect of my lineage, a part of who I had forgotten to a degree, but I know she was always there all along. And I see that these moments of us shining and then retracting, or thinking it has to be perfect in order to be heard or seen or appreciated, is the old way of being in the world. And we are here as the feminine to rise into a new way of being, a new way of being seen and heard in all of our beauty, which is not perfect. If we look at nature, we see that it is beautiful, and yet it is not perfect. There are weeds that are beautiful. There are trees that grow crooked, but they still create beauty. And we are grateful for the gifts that they give us, no matter the shape, no matter the design. And so it is with us, that we come back to a place of understanding our gifts. And I remember that moment where I released my first song on Spotify without listening to it, because I didn't want to get stuck in perfection, because it was born out of pure love. And I wanted to stay in that place without allowing any of my story to taint it in any way, because I am not perfect. None of us are. And I am deep in this place of some of the darkest places I've ever been. And I'm also feeling stronger from it, because I no longer run from the thorns, because I understand that, yes, there is this beauty with a rose, and it comes with the thorns. And when we can truly accept the full shape and form of all that we are, not making one part of us wrong or shameful or bad or judging it, but truly coming from that place of fullest expression, from pure love, which is source flowing through us, then we will create and do exactly what we were born to do from our very first breath and our very first sound.
Oh my God, Queen! Oh, are you kidding me right now? You have some straight fire magic in you. Thank you for this gift.
You are so welcome.
I can't believe you just spit that out.
I know, it sometimes is a thing. I'm like, this is the piece. This is the channeling piece. It comes through. It comes through. And it is my...
Dani is what you needed.
Girl, I'm like, yes, okay. I'm so glad this is recorded.
I do always say that. I'm like, anytime that we go into this, I make sure people are recording, because I wouldn't be able to do that again. I mean, for you, that was for you, and that's the piece where I always say, that's for you. It's channeled for you. It's me tapping into your energy, into your frequency. And so you get to use those words, however you choose to use them, because it's a gift for you.
Oh my God. Thank you so much.
There's some magic in this room. You're ready, Dani.
Oh my God. It's just, my heart is full seeing this magic happen in real time, and that we created this, because just everyone that is watching the recording, we didn't plan for Chantelle and Dani to be on the same day. It just happened. And it happened that they both do a lot of vocal work. So it's just crazy how magic happens. And when you allow it to happen, it does. And look at this. It's just like, it's pure magic. And I'm so grateful. Oh my God, with both of you. I love you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. This was so beautiful. I appreciate it.
Thank you to you both. I'm so touched, and thank you to this community. What a juicy 70 minutes, 67
Yeah.
minutes. So
I feel like I
so
need a little picture of us.
Yes,
Yes.
let's do it.
There you go.
Perfect. I love it. And thank you so much. And I'm gonna drop the link for your Instagram. I don't know if there's on other ways that
Oh,
we
yes.
want people to connect with you, because oh my God, if
Sure.
you wanna do a
Yes.
session with Chantelle, please, please, please. And any links that you want me to share on the replay, please just
Yes, I can always do a story session for people. I can do those at any point in time. So yes, absolutely. You can reach out anytime. At Chantelle Speaks on Instagram, you can come follow me there. And then I do have a storytelling masterclass that takes you through your brand and your content. And so I can share that with you if I didn't already. I'm blanking on what I might have shared in there, but there is the storytelling access. I'll put it right here. There's only a couple of us, but I'll put it here for you guys in the chat. So there is a free storytelling masterclass there, a 3-part series for anybody who's interested. But come and say hello and let me know that you found me through Sabrina, and I will give you a special rate on a story session if that feels aligned. Yeah, thank you.
thank you so much, Chantelle. Thank you so much, Dani, for being willing to open yourself and be vulnerable. Both of you for being so amazing and being here and allow me to create this magic, because seeing it in real life is so much different. And I'm all about just channeling whatever needs to come. And every session that we're doing every day is coming like that. I'm really not planning anything. And every meditation that is coming in the morning is what people need at that moment. So I just appreciate that you guys are the same. Love you so much. And thank you again. Bye, everyone. Great way to finish this session.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.